Welcome to the Emerging Lawyer at the Coffee Conversation Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum TIF and our tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is Arbitration, Insolvency, and Beyond, Navigating Complexities. We have with us Arush Khanna, a distinguished partner at Numen Law Offices and an officer at the International Bar Association who specializes in commercial disputes, arbitration, and insolvency law. From representing high stakes cases to mentoring the next generation of lawyers, Arush has built a reputation as a thought leader in the legal fraternity. So, welcome Arush to 2025's first Coffee Conversation episode. This will be a memorable one for me and my team, for the person who is initiating the year for us.
Thank you very much, Amir. It's an absolute pleasure. I wish all your viewers a happy new year, and I'm really grateful, of course, for your kind words, and as well as the fact that I'm the first person to be interviewed in 2025, and I hope it goes well. But yes, I look forward to it, and really appreciate being here, and it's an honor to be called. Yeah.
So let me explain you the format. You must be aware of the two rounds, but there is third round, that is a rapid fire, the fun round. You have to be witty, fun, quick, and you'll get this book.
All right.
Now you become technology savvy, as we had a conversation during the warm up. So this will help you to understand different legal tech solutions and make you a tech savvy, and you are doing incredible work in the insolvency field. So friends, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host of Coffee Conversation, legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution, author of 15 books. We help law firms, corporate legal, startups, SMEs become profitable with world-class software and technology solutions. So my first question, Arush, in the professional journey round, what inspired you to focus on commercial disputes, arbitration, and insolvency law?
Well, Amir, firstly, I don't think there's an identifiable source of inspiration. I think sourcing inspiration as a concept is very much work in progress, as opposed to having one inflection point or a red letter moment. In fact, truth be told, even pursuing law was not a burning passion when I was in my 12th grade. I actually didn't know what I will do after my 12th, and therefore, law was, in a way, a sort of a default option. But when I started law, I then managed to get a job at the iconic Karanjawala and Company. I was very fortunate, and the first case I got as an associate at Karanjawala was a NSC arbitration, and that's how my love affair with arbitration started. And then, of course, at that time, there was no IBC. I graduated 2012, which is 4 years before IBC was promulgated. So, of course, when IBC came about, being a student of commercial law, it evoked a lot of interest in me. And I was again fortunate to be entrusted with some good matters, and that really kicked off in in my own small way my IBC practice. So both were actually they were nice accidents to have happened. It was never a channelized dream from the day I was 12 or 13. It very one, I mean, it came along and I embraced the journey. So yeah.
Okay. Arush, how do you balance the demands of arbitration cases across jurisdictions within Indian legal proceedings?
Well, I think managing your calendar is a quintessential part of any modern day practitioner. And I'm sure a lot of modern day professionals, some of whom have also been a part of your show, have do manage their calendars very meticulously. And I'm no exception. I mean, I'm very much work in progress, but I think managing your calendar is very important. As a matter of principle, the days I have uh, arbitration hearings, for example, they're normally longer hearings, and court hearings can take a couple of hours, but can even wrap up in a minute. If the matter is getting adjourned. So if there is an arbitration long hearing, then of course I don't take up any court work that day. And if I'm traveling for work or conferencing, I try and manage it at least 3 months in advance, so that there is no calendar conflict, and I don't want to, I want to be there. If I've taken up a professional assignment, it's my job, it's my bounden duty to be there. So, I mean, one has to manage the calendar. I think, yes, as I said, it's very much, work in progress.
Wow. So, I'm a little curious. I saw your LinkedIn profile. There is FCIArb. So, what does that mean for our viewers out there?
So F stands for fellow. So I am a fellow with this institute in the UK, which is the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators. Now they have a three-tier accreditation process. ACIR, which is associate, M member, and F is fellow. And therefore, you have to pass all three tiers to become an FCIR. When I think my FCIR program concluded in the last month of 2023, and to the best of my recollection, I was the youngest FCIR in India at the time, though I know a couple of people who are younger than me who are FCIRs today. But it's basically training yourself as arbitrators from arguably the world's foremost institute of training arbitrators. It's headquartered in UK, but they have a very robust India chapter as well. We have some stalwarts who are, a part of the India chapter. So I was always a part of CR right from the days I think 4 or 5 years into my practice. I was about 27. I joined CR, then I cleared my 2 tiers ACIR, then I became MCR, I think in the year 2020 to my recollection. And then in 2023, I decided to take the plunge. Although it's not usual for a person in his or her 20s to take up this program because it is a difficult course to clear. But I think you have to take up some challenges.
Yeah.
I was fortunate to clear my FCR examination, and it was good for me. So, yeah.
Wow. So my next question will be for viewers who wants to go follow your path of becoming this international accreditation in arbitration. So how does one start the what do you say, preparation and the journey?
So, I mean, for all aspiring arbitration practitioners or arbitrators, I must at the outset say, and I'm not saying this because I am trained by the CR, but CIR, which is the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, is pretty much the gold standard when it comes to training arbitrators. And therefore, for anyone who is, harboring a desire to become an arbitrator or a practitioner in arbitration, undergoing CR training will embellish your profile. And I'm convinced about it because I myself can say so with uh, a fair bit of humility as well as responsibility that it has helped me in my career as an arbitration practitioner. So look up the website. It is very, the interface is very, very easy. Look up the how to climb the ladder, how to first be a member. Then, of course, you enroll for the accreditation programs. In India, you have courses conducted throughout the year by people who are among the finest brains in the field of arbitration and ADR in India. There are courses, accreditation programs, which help you become an associate, then a member, and then finally you become an FCIR. Once you have cleared the first two ladders and you're well equipped, because FCIR is not an easy process. I mean, more people end up not clearing it than those who end up clearing it. So, I mean, I would highly recommend people to look up the website. And in case there is any doubt, I'm sure you can write to the coordinator of the India branch. I know her well. Andrella is her name. I think the email ID is coordinator.crb@gmail.com, but I'm not too sure. You can check it up online.
Okay. So doing this FCIRB, how has it changed your viewpoint on arbitration and how did it add value to your career?
So I'll tell you, Amir, whenever today we are moving towards institutional arbitration. Gone are the days not gone are the days. Ad hoc arbitration is very much still the norm. Institution is the exception. But in ad hoc arbitration, sometimes the opportunities are limited for young arbitrators. I'm not going to go into reasons why and who gets appointed. That's a topic for another day, another forum. But institutional arbitrations, one of the first things they see in a prospective arbitrator is that what is his or her training? Where is the experience come from? And I'm personally, I've seen and I've heard people who are leading institutions across the world, that they prefer young arbitrators who have actually undergone some rigorous training. And when it comes to training, as I said, CIR is the gold standard. There are other institutes across the world, but I doubt there is any which enjoys the same stature as the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators. So, I mean, you can look up other institutes as well. I'm sure there are other institutes that are giving training. And no training is bad, no form of education is bad. But one has to keep honing their skills, because an arbitration is not going to fall on your lap. I mean, do people know I'm good at arbitration unless I have undergone certain training? Today, I can write against my name FCIArb, and I would like to believe that there's a perception that, okay, this guy can do some arbitration to save his life. So, that is how you have to project yourself as young practitioners, because like I said, opportunities are there. There is a dearth of qualitative opportunity. It's a crowded market we have.
Okay. Arush, can you share a transformative case that defined your perspective on dispute resolution?
Wow. So, transformative case. I'm not too sure about perspective, because I think every noteworthy case that you do shapes your perspective towards your line of work, and that's true not only for us as lawyers, but even people from all walks of life. But I'd share a case where I was 26 years old. This is about 9 years back. And I was approached by the management of a very famous fast food chain restaurant, TGI Fridays. I'm pretty sure your viewers and yourself, your good self, would have heard of it. So they had the excise authorities in Hyderabad had cancelled their license and sealed their premises on the ground that they had served liquor to underage persons. And those underage persons engaged in drunken driving, got into an accident and killed 3 people and injured 2 people. A show cause notice was issued, giving them 7 days to respond as to why their licenses shouldn't be cancelled. And on the seventh day, they came to the premises, sealed the restaurant, and cancelled the license. And it was fairly evident that they had served alcohol to underage people. So that was a defense not available. So they came to me. It was my first year as an independent counsel. That time I didn't conceptualize. Numen happened about 3 years later. So I told them, let's challenge it by way of a writ petition. We filed a writ in court. The only ground that was available to me was that if you gave me 7 days to respond, how can you seal my premises on the seventh day? As per the applicable law, you exclude the first day and include the last day. When you're computing a period which the law gives you, you have to exclude the first day on which the date is ordered and include the last, which means 7 full days had to conclude before you could actually come and seal the premises. So, and this was a fairly black and white sort of an argument. And the counsel for the excise authority said that, listen, this is you can't look at this frivolous issue. I said, this is a constitutional issue. If you have given me 7 days, don't I have the right to wait for the conclusion of the seventh day for me to give my response? So the judge said, yeah, fair enough. There is a point. Of course, there were other ancillary grounds that we took, but principally on this ground, he actually quashed the cancellation order. And then the family of the victims, and I'm doing my job as a lawyer. My heart goes out to the bereaved family members, of course. They filed a compensation suit for 5 crores against the restaurant, saying that because of your act of giving alcohol or serving alcohol to underage people, this accident happened and we lost our family. And with great deference and respect, I told the court that, listen, this incident could not have happened without the use of a motor car. And any cause of action involving the use of a motor car has to go to the Motor Accidents Claims Tribunal. You can't file a civil suit in a civil court. So the trial court judge said, no, you can't take this argument. They have a right to come to you, to come to us. I said, but there is a law in place. There is a Motor Accident Claim Tribunal in place, because just my service of alcohol was not the cause of their family member dying. What was the chain? To complete the chain, you needed the motor car, and as long as there is use of motor car, it goes to the Motor Accident Claim Tribunal. So the High Court, in a revision, allowed they allowed my revision and actually rejected the suit. So this was one case. It lasted a good 8 years, but remains one of my most cherished court adventures.
Wow. So your presence of mind of application of right laws and guiding the judiciary, there are systems and places to go for. So you cannot, because then there will be duplication of
I
people
think
will be
looking at the
trying.
merits of a case has to be the last resort. As a commercial lawyer, there's so many other grounds you can take. The grounds of delay, whether a court can hear you or not. What are the other grounds you can change? You need to challenge the case at the very threshold and see what all possible counter actions that you might have after looking at a brief. Just going on, I mean, if I would have taken the argument that, no, I did not serve, I checked their driving IDs and all, I would have never got the relief. But such a fundamental point that, boss, you gave me 7 days, and on the seventh day, you come and seal my premises. You could have you could have come 24 hours later. I have a right to give you a response for 7 days, a right which you have yourself given me. So you can't self curtail your right and come and barge into my restaurant and seal the premises. So it was, I mean, it worked that time. It doesn't work every time, but yeah.
I know, I know. So the divine, क्या बोलते हैं, the Lord was there with you to guide you in your first case, and many more things. Ki presence of mind is what helps you wherever you are. That
Oh yeah,
is
presence of
my.
mind is very important for sure. That's why I'm having coffee as I'm talking to you, because I don't want to zone out.
Okay, so my next question: what excites you most about the evolving role of arbitration in India's legal landscape, Arush?
Well, India's arbitration landscape has evolved a lot over the last maybe 6 years now. We've seen close to three amendments, and now we have a draft amendment which has recently been circulated for public consultation and comments. And if I look at the draft amendment, what excites me is probably the prospect of having emergency arbitration as a concept in India. I mean, for all your viewers who may not be um, abreast with arbitration as a concept, an emergency arbitrator is basically an arbitrator who you can approach for immediate urgent interim reliefs. Sometimes there is a property which you have to safeguard, and you cannot wait for the final outcome of the case to safeguard that property. It could be property, it could be a perishable commodity, it could be a lot of things. And ordinarily in India till now, you have to go to a court or a tribunal if the arbitration has commenced for that interim relief. Now you can avoid excessive judicial interference, because, as you know, and every common person knows, India's courts are choked with a backlog of over 4.5 crore cases. So I think an emergency arbitrator as a concept, if it's included in our arbitration landscape, will really help reduce judicial intervention and make the sort of the journey of getting an interim urgent relief for your client in an arbitration more efficient, and in terms of time and cost. So that is one thing which excites me. Of course, there are a lot more things that I can talk about, because I'm do arbitration for a living, but I'll keep it to that one thing right now.
So that is another topic that we are during this warm-up call, panel discussion. So leave it to that. So then it will be a subject-related topic discussion. So we continue during that with other panelists.
Of
So
course, look forward. I
dimensions
mean,
will come across. Okay. So, Arush, what challenges do lawyers face in arbitration today, and how can they overcome them?
Well, I can speak for younger professionals. I myself am not very old, so I can speak for younger professionals. I think the challenge, as I had alluded to earlier, is I think there is today the biggest challenge is qualitative opportunities. As you are aware, legal services as an industry is not open to FDI. We don't have foreign law firms in India. So, quality employments and engagements with good quality arbitration teams or chambers is still very constricted to very few young law graduates. So, people, having hopes of developing a career in arbitration often are languishing for a good opportunity in a top law firm or with a top arbitration practitioner or a counsel. So, and they are often resorted to doing other areas of law which may not interest them. Now, my personal advice to them would be that listen, it's very unlikely that straight out of law school you get your area of choice of practice on your lap. It is something you have to work for. It takes an ordinary lawyer like myself for 10 to 12 years to develop a career, and even till date less than half my docket is arbitration. I still go to court for a living as well. Of course I have arbitration, but they're not the the only thing I do. So I think what they need to do is to hang in there, to look out for opportunities, to do these training programs, to do all these courses, write articles. Sometimes a great way to project yourself is to create qualitative written content, which kind of leaves an impression with the general public that listen, he or she is interested in arbitration, writes well, is reasonably trained. I mean, normally your profile is now on public domain. So I think you should keep on working on your profile as a possible recruitee in any arbitration chamber or firm. I think you need to work on it even whilst you're working in other fields, and the opportunity will come. It takes time in a market like India, but when it comes, yeah.
Wow. Okay, Arush, what emerging trends in insolvency and bankruptcy law should businesses watch out for in 2025?
IBCs, I tell you, it's the most evolving jurisprudence that I've come across in the last 9 or 10 years. Um, two noteworthy amendments, which actually are not very recent, but they came in about 3 years after the act came into force, was because a lot of promoters were getting backdoor entries and buying back their company at a lower value. Because once you're in insolvency, you're like a stressed asset. So nobody pays fair market value or market value for the asset. So a lot of promoters would deceitfully want to put in their companies into CIRP and then, through another resolution applicant, buy it back. Now, under 29 Capital A, which came in by way of an amendment, a promoter can't do that unless the promoter is an MSME. So, for MSME, for a micro, small, and medium enterprises, the exception is drawn out that a promoter can uh, get a buyback option. Of course, there are certain conditions attached. I don't want to get very granular about it. But yes, and the other thing was 32 Capital A. A lot of promoters thought that just because there is a moratorium is effectively a stay on all legal proceedings whilst the company is undergoing insolvency. They will be absolved of their responsibility in criminal cases as well. In 32 Capital A, this was clarified that 32 Capital A gives the clean slate to the new management, which takes over the old company, which takes over the going concern. But the erstwhile management, even though commercially may be absolved from their responsibility, but in all criminal cases, this will not be a get out of jail card. Because a lot of white collar cases, promoters were trying to use the tool of CIRP to get themselves out of jail. Not literally, but I mean, in a manner of speaking. So then 32 Capital A came into force to kind of safeguard the entire insolvency process and said that, listen, we are doing insolvency, we're not a criminal court. If you have engaged in any white collar activity, or any PMLA activity, then the law will take its course against you, whether you have been the ex-management and whether you are currently not in control of the company also. So these two, I mean, these were the two really marquee amendments in my view. And I think businesses have been on the watch out. They have no option. Otherwise, of course, there are a lot other trends that keep on floating every day. Like I said, IBC is evolving every day. I don't think we have we can say with a great sense of conviction that what law stands today will stand tomorrow in IBC for sure.
Okay. So, Arush, you're an officer at the International Bar Association. So, what are the roles and responsibility of an officer, and what has been your proudest moment over there?
Well, I think to be really honest, I mean, I don't know, again, for the benefit of your viewers, the IBA was formed alongside the United Nations. So it is the foremost international association of lawyers across the world in terms of prestige, even in terms of its age. It's close to 80 years now. Um, and having been appointed as an officer with the Young Lawyers Committee at the age of 29, there are only two Indian officers, and we are a committee of about 1,500 people. It was a really proud and gratifying moment. I can't really single out any particular moment which was a moment of pride. I think the fact that the IBA as an association gave me this opportunity to be an officer. Of course, there are a lot of roles and responsibilities. We, as a part of the Young Lawyers Committee, we are nurturing relationships with universities across the world. We recently did a training in Rome, Paris. We did one in Amity Law School, Noida, which was attended by over 120 people. We have these young lawyer surveys about use of AI in the legal profession and how are young lawyers taking to work after COVID and all those kind of projects, special projects. And yes, I'm a part of this very nice group of officers from across the world, really, right? From Paraguay to Spain, Lebanon, Portugal. So they're officers from all over the world. So it's really it's very enlightening to get a sense of what they do and how they do it. So it's been a wonderful part of my line of work. I mean, I've been an officer now almost more than 5 years, and so far so good.
That's commendable for an Indian to be part of international organization. So, hats off, and you reach high levels in the IBA. So, our wishes are there. So now,
Thank you.
my two questions regarding your law firm. What is story behind Numen naming of the law firm as Numen Law Offices, and how does your day look like at Numen Law Offices?
Okay, so well, story behind the name. Actually, we had a lot of discussion and brainstorming on the name, but I think Newman, and I remember even my mom was involved in the middle because I think the four of us couldn't get to a common name. But yes, I think Newman is a very nice spiritual word which actually stands for a concept wherein there is no one single leader. We are a modern day meritocratic emerging outfit. We are, I mean, with great respect, we are not like the traditional law firm outfit where it's led by a single family or a promoter. We came as a group of four partners. Now, of course, we are blessed with a team of over 14 lawyers across two offices. But so yeah, Newman just came about. I mean, I don't know how, but I'll have to check my law firm group to come up with an exact response. But I think the meaning really resonated with all of us. It had a very nice. It has to be easy to pronounce because we, apart from dealing with some cross-border work, we also have to deal with work from the Indian heartland, and I can't have a very complicated word with a Latin connotation. I have to keep it easy. So Newman Law Offices felt easy. It felt good. We have a very good logo as well. I'm sure you've seen it on social media. So, and as regards your follow-up question as to how my day at Newman looks like, well, I'm in office by about 9:30, 9:40 in the morning. I could start earlier, but 9:30, 9:40, first week of Jan, so it's really cold in the morning. But then, of course, if I have court engagements, then I'm in court. If I have a hearing in the tribunal, then I head off to the tribunal. I ideally like to come to office first. And now, now that I'm married and I have a 3-month-old child, my endeavor is to be back home by 8:30 so that I can get a meal with my family and go back. And in the day, of course, there's the daily work, there is legal work, managerial work. Of course, I mean, as a partner of a law firm, I have administrative and managerial responsibilities as well. So I think a blend of all of that, and that's my day.
Wow. So my last question, Arush, how has your leadership style evolved over the years?
How's my leadership style evolved over the years? I think leadership as a concept can't be static. I think times are changing. Your daily modus operandi is changing. Like after the outbreak of the COVID virus in 2020, early 2020, we had to go from where virtual working from home was actually a focal concept. Before that, it was like a fringe concept. So your leadership style on how you can conduct your meetings, your work, your court assignments across a screen. Like today, you and I are interacting over a screen. Maybe 4 years prior, we may not have interacted across the screen, and we would have maybe. I mean, I'm looking forward to interacting with you off the screen as well. But and I think likewise, you are dealing with different people from different strata of society, from different parts of the country. You're dealing with lawyers, you're dealing with sometimes senior counsel who you have to brief for some cases, you're dealing with your law clerks, you're dealing with the office boys, you're dealing with young people who maybe, of course, nobody knows everything on day one. So I think you need to engage with your people. It's, yes, you can't be liked by everyone, but that has to be the endeavor, that you take people along and you have to lead by example. If you're not the hardest working person in your room, I don't think you can be a leader. Gone are the days where you could, rule by a diktat or imposition. You have to be the first one on the battlefield, and that's the endeavor. And I hope I'm doing well. I think my team would be able to answer that question better than I would.
Okay. Now, let's go to the next round and understand Arush as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years, Arush.
Well, I come from a Punjabi joint family, born in the capital. So I live with my parents, grandparents. 4 years back, I got married. We have a son now who's 3 months old, as I said. So we are all a food and cricket adoring family. And that's our passion. And in terms of my formative years, I completed my schooling from Modern School, Barakamba Road, which is a very famous school over here. And then, of course, I did law from Pune, Symbiosis Law School. Uh, back in school, I actually had aspirations of being a cricketer, but given the kind of competition around me and the fact that I really wasn't the best on the cricket field, I thought of switching, and then of course law happened, as I said, as more of a default option back in the day. Yeah, I was a decent student. I wasn't the brightest in the room, but I think I managed to pass with decent grades. So yeah, I mean, we are a very modest family. We live, as I said, we live in the capital, and yeah, those are formative years.
Okay. So, Arush, what's a lesser known hobby or skill that surprises people when they learn about it?
Lesser known hobby or skill. I can actually make good cocktails. It's a good conversation starter. People are taken aback by the fact that I can make cocktails, and further taken aback in good or bad way after they've tasted that. I'll make you taste one cocktail soon when
Wow,
you meet me.
yes. Yeah. So we have to meet very soon.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the most adventurous thing you have done in your free time, Arush?
It was the most adventurous thing I've done in my free time. I mean, it's very difficult to recollect one, Amir, but maybe I'll give it a shot. Recently, I think last year, a group of a group of three people, three of us, including myself, college friends, had done this very treacherous trek in Satal near Nainital. It's not as crowded as Nainital, so it's far better. It was like a nature hike, a rather difficult one, and we reached this very, very isolated waterfall with nobody around. It was so we finally. I think I had a bruised knee amongst other issues after that walk, but after that trek rather. But we enjoyed the waterfall. The water was so cold that the beers that we have were kept inside the water under the pebbles, and we could all enjoy a picnic after that. So that was quite adventurous. I mean, very difficult to point out. Back in school there were a lot of other adventurous activities that we're doing, but that may not be apt to be expressed on this show. Maybe we'll need to speak offline for that.
Okay. What's your ideal weekend if you had zero work commitment? Just visualize and share.
Ideal weekend, very simple, just to chill at home, not do anything, watch some live sports. Now, of course, like I said, I have a child, and I can't find a better way to unwind. It's the best part of my day. But yeah, I mean, I would rather not be social and just chill at home. Right now, by the fireplace, we have a small fireplace at home. So right now, by the fireplace. Otherwise, during May and June, maybe under the air conditioner, watch some live sport on TV, and yeah, just chill around, have a conversation with my wife, my mom, my dad. So that's very that ways. If there is no other social commitment, I'm a very lazy person on the couch. Very hard for me to get out of my house.
Yeah. So, Arush, who has influenced you from the arbitration legal world?
I mean, see, as a legal professional, I come from a family of lawyers. From my mom's side, I'm generation number five. So my grandfather has been my greatest source of inspiration from the days I started at the bar, and continues to be so. Um, I I still start sweating if I have to show him a draft or I have to take him for a matter. I'm not good enough to brief him. I still believe that. Although he started to say to me that now you are getting there, but he's really a master of what he does. So if I look at a single biggest inspiration, it has to come from within the family, and it's been my granddad who's really been instrumental in teaching me. Even though I don't spend every day with him, I meet him once in 15 days, but he's really been a massive source of inspiration for me, and as I said, continues to be so. Just the way he goes about his work, his commitments, he's always there for the family. I don't know how he gets time. He's working over 15 hours a day, and still whatever, if I mean, for any good thing or bad thing, he's the first one there. He's the first one to call. So uh, I want to make him proud one day, and I am hoping that I am doing the right things for that.
Yeah. So, Arush, which book or movie has inspired you a lot?
Which book or movie? Is this the rapid fire?
No, no.
Okay. uh, no, which book? See, I'm not much of a movie person. Movie inspired me. And I'm not a very, very avid reader. I complete about 4 books a year. I wish I could have avoided that line, but it is true. I don't manage more than 4 books a year. Uh, the last book, I mean, I'm on the cusp of completing this book by Ravi Chandran Ashwin, a cricketer I admire greatly. I Have the Streets. I think that's a very good book. And in terms of movies, I don't remember. I really enjoyed that movie, 12th Fail. It was a very good movie. I don't know whether it inspires me in my life as a lawyer, but I don't look at movies to get inspired. I look at them to unwind. But like I said, I don't watch a lot of movies. And I like all the frivolous, baseless movies. I don't like movies where I have to use a lot of my brain. I have to use it for about 14 hours a day in any case. So might as well just unwind and watch one of those frivolous movies where there's no head or tail.
Correct, correct. Like Welcome, Singham.
Welcome is very good. Hera Fairy, Hasina Maan
Uh,
Jayegi,
uh,
Hangover, all these series, they're like, even Home Alone for that matter. I watched it at
yeah.
Christmas. Home Alone 1 and 2. They're iconic movies. Casper,
Yes.
and of course the Marvel series. So
Mm.
all these movies are very good. And I can't really watch those, deep diving movies where you have to really think. I can't do all of that.
Okay, it's fine. Okay, let's go back to your days in London. So, any favorite memory from your time studying there?
No, so just for correction, I actually was working at Herbert Smith. I did not study in London. And the Chartered
It's fine.
Institute of Arbitrators is a training that happens virtually. So I didn't
Oh,
study there, but I worked in Herbert Smith and it was a fantastic experience. I was fortunate to be in a great team. Donny Sultani, who's now an independent arbitrator, he normally is based out of Canada, but does a lot of UK outbound work as well. Chris Parker was there. I was working with him again, very, very sound practitioner. They gave me a lot of autonomy. I was very pleased to know that, again, no names taken, but some of our firms in India sometimes look at interns or assessment interns as the last, like a link in the chain. And they're just given the fag end of some research work. They're not made a part of the strategic process. Their strategic inputs are not received. But I think at Herbert Smith, despite the fact that I was only there for 3 months, I was made a part of client conferences. My strategic input was also sought. Whether it was incorporated or not is another thing, but at least they were receptive to any thought I had. And when you're interacting with the client, when you know the objective of the client, when you're a part of the strategy, as opposed to just doing the research without knowing what the end product is or what the end objective is, it can be a very bland profession. So I think that ways it was a very enriching experience, and of course they were very good. I mean, as I think in London, there's a concept that whenever they, or rather in Herbert Smith that time, now it's Herbert Smith Freehills. There was a concept that at the end of every intern's term in office, they would take them out for lunch. So I was treated to a wonderful meal by the entire team close to the office, and really a memory that I hold very highly in my professional journey so far. I'm grateful for having gone for the internship. Yeah.
wow. Okay. Now, my last question should be googly one. Describe Arush in one line.
Describe Arush in one line. A simple person who wants to make every day an adventure and every conversation an opportunity, and wants and aspires to be a better grandson, son, brother, husband, now, of course, most importantly, a good father. And of course, coincidentally, a good lawyer as well. So I don't know if it was one line or three, but yeah, you can.
It's all right.
Keeping it
Okay.
brief is not my forte, it seems.
Okay. Let's have some fun. The rapid fire. Morning briefs or late night case preparation?
I would prefer morning, but I end up doing more late night.
Okay. Your dream travel place?
Mm, dream travel place would be Brazil for the time being, or Scandinavia.
Okay. Uh, your favorite color?
My favorite color, white.
Okay. Go to comfort food.
Uh, Homemade Rogan Josh with paratha.
Wow. Okay. Your favorite restaurant in Delhi you would recommend?
Favorite restaurant, I love eating at home actually. Favorite restaurant in Delhi. There's this place called Bomba. It's close to my house. I don't get to face a lot of the traffic, and they have the best pizzas and the best tacos. So yeah, Bomba is very good. They don't have the permit to serve alcohol, but regardless of that, they're really good.
Okay. Uh, your favorite mocktail which you make?
I don't make mock. uh, I mean, if Virgin Margarita qualifies as a mocktail, then so be it.
Okay. Your favorite place in London?
Favorite place in London? I think where I stayed, Richmond side. I think that's a wonderful place to be. I mean, just very nice and peaceful. I mean, it was peaceful back in 2011. I haven't been there since. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. Best piece of advice received?
Best piece of advice received. Uh, I get so many every day. It's hardly any. There's not a rapid response, but I think to hang in there. There have been times, as an emerging lawyer running a law firm, that it's hard going. There have been challenges, but yeah, just to hang in there, it'll come. I think that was a very crisp advice. It was given to me by my parents, and then my wife also gives me the same advice at times. So it was, yeah, just hang in there. It'll happen. We have
Beautiful.
dry days at times. What to
Yeah.
do?
Yes. Okay. Tea or coffee?
Oh, uh, coffee.
You are on the coffee show, so you.
Yeah.
So, friends, you did well, and your book. I'll
Thank you
send
very
across
much.
the autograph, and it will be your New Year gift.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Amir,
I'll
and
send
really thank you.
one more gift, which will be for your family, will be valuable since you're from the lawyers, but my little effort that unlocking the mysteries in will, probate, and trust in India.
Oh, yes, of course. That'll be most useful. And like I said, thank you so much. You've been
So for
most kind.
your family members who spread all over now, they will value it, and you can give them. So my through my Lions Club, we have did panel discussion, we did a book launch, we have conducted several seminars. So this is the way where we want people make their wills, not wait for 60, 70. Start from 40, make revisions. So your family members are at peace, and there is harmony in the family.
No, Amir, I must also conclude by thanking you. I think the work that you do is really fantastic. I had the chance to read about you. Of course, I've known of you through the work you've done. We've never interacted before, but I've known of you because of the work you've done and the kind of niche that you've created and the way you empower law firms by giving them practical, progressive solutions is really the way forward. And even these kind of passion projects that you have, like the coffee show and the kind of panel conversation that you have yourself curated so minutely. I think it's really really endearing to see. And like I said, I think there's a lot to be inspired from. And congratulations to you firstly on whatever you do, and like I said, wishing you and your team a very happy new year. It's been an absolute privilege to be a part of this show. I hope it was worthwhile for you, but yeah, it was definitely
Yeah,
good
yeah.
for me.
Let me conclude, and this has to be repeated in your experience sharing and more. So, friends, start off 2025, lovely conversation. He is a young leading arbitrator in India. He has FCIArb. So he is invested in learning and had come to this stage. And he's also contributing to the community, being part as an officer at the International Bar Association. So, friends, whoever wants to establish as an arbitrator, watch this episode. And whoever wants to engage Arush, his contact details will be there in the caption. So subscribe to the Coffee Corner Show. There are over 300 plus episodes with different subject experts and topics. You'll get a lot of insights. You can relate to them, implement in your life, and be inspired from them. So 2025, there will be a lot of more exciting things at the Coffee Corner Show. And we meet with another coffee speaker. If you want to be featured as a coffee speaker like Arush, Visit our social media handles, the Emerging India Forum. Your team will connect with you, invite you over a cup of coffee, have interesting coffee conversation. So happy New Year to everyone. Thank you.